Up here. So we are now recording, and I just want to say welcome everyone to our Monday night call. We are coming off of an amazing weekend with an awesome event that we had with our team. And so I know there's a lot of high energy and a lot of people ready to do. So this call with Megan couldn't have been on a more perfect topic. So I actually met Megan in a 3 to 5 star mastermind group that we're in, and she was looking for someone, if you guys remember, to go over Instagram with her and her team. And I volunteered Amanda, not just myself, but hold on one second, I'm sorry. I volunteered Amanda and myself to kind of jump in and we could trade calls. And her passion and her thing that she's really excited to share, and she said she's just always been pretty confident in and loving to share, is the inviting process. So sorry guys, we're getting situated here. Okay, so we were talking and she was sharing like this call. I know that you guys saw on the team page that I posted and shared. This call is for people who are new to inviting, who want a new way of inviting, who are bored with the way they're inviting now, who need a little bit of fire lit under their butt, and who also maybe are comfortable but they want to hear other ways of doing it. So I know that I shared a lot about who she is, but I'm going to go ahead and read that off again. So she is, obviously you heard, she has a 5-year-old son. She's a wife. She is an Insanity Live instructor, a Core to Force Live instructor, an Ultimate Portion Fix master coach, and a 2B Mindset test group participant, which I was in the 2B Mindset test group too, so I didn't even know that about you. She's a 4-star diamond, combined 7-star between her centers, 1-time premier coach, 6-figure earner, and she's been in Success Club for 63 months. And I think a lot of times, you know, when we think of these as we're reading them off, it is to like for recognition and like look at what you've done and where you've come from, because that's important for us to always be celebrating, you know, what we've achieved ourselves. But you guys, it's also to show you that what we're doing, no matter how simple or no matter how complex or whatever it is that she's going to share, the systems that she's using is obviously working. 63 months in Success Club, changing people's lives that way, being a participant in all of those things. You can see all have, you know, really given her a lot of growth in this business. And she is obviously, the way you grow in this business, I was just talking about this with someone earlier, is you don't keep your secrets. Like so many times I think as we want to be successful, we think we need to protect what we know. Like we're only going to give away what we know in our groups. We're only going to give away what we know to our team because we want to be successful. And when coaches share, even outside of the teams, and they share their secrets, which aren't secrets, it really levels them up. It levels everyone up, and we rise by lifting each other up, right? So I'm super excited to introduce Megan to you. We've actually been talking. We may have something collaborating for the teams coming up in the next month or two. So we're really excited about that. So everyone, I don't know how to say Megan's last name. I'm going to ask you. But Megan.
Hi.
Hi.
That was such a great intro. Saienni. It's my husband's last name, actually. Believe it or not, my maiden name was butchered worse. It was Hermanau. It was terrible. It ended in AU, and it was just like the worst. And I was so excited when I got the name Saienni, and then when it became my name, nobody can pronounce that one either. I was like, I'll never have a name anyone knows. It's funny. I'm so used to it, though. Don't worry. I mean, I'm ready. Are you guys ready? You want to just dive right in? Okay. Can I screen share? Is it going to let me? Let's see. Okay, good. Here we are. All right. I have slides. I'm going to give my slides to Lindsay. I'm going to message them to her. Feel free to take pictures. Feel free to unmute yourself and interrupt if it can't wait. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat. I tunnel away from the chat because I'm super distracted by it, but I want you to put those questions down for me. If you need me to stop at any point, just let me know. I'm happy to do that. And then I'll go back through the chat at the end and address like any questions that you guys have. This is going to be a lot of information. And Lindsay kind of just went over my credentials. Before we get started, I just wanted to let you know, like, I find with my coaches and my team, And I find with a lot of newer coaches or coaches that are struggling to go like emerald or diamond or whatever, like the inviting is just such a block for them. Like it's just such a problem. Like they're either just not comfortable with it, or they're doing it like just enough to be able to confidently say that they do it consistently, but they're still not hitting their goals. And then that's like super frustrating for them. And then I find that they're just doing it in a way that they're like told to do, or that someone else is doing. And I just really feel like there's so many ways that you can do it. And this is some of the ways that I do it. I don't do all of this every single day. I really do switch it up and try and keep it fresh, and look at the conversations I have going on, and really listen to what people need and try and give them what they need. But these are some really like out of the box things that I have done that have always proven success for me. And I didn't even want to call this call inviting. When I sat down to write the title, I was like, inviting, it's like the dirty word. So I just wanted to call it connections, conversations, and hitting your goals in a way that works for you. This is a business built on relationships, 100%. You're not going to build a relationship with anyone outside mother, sister, neighbor if you're not having conversations and connections. It's not possible. And this business, what makes us different than MLMs, other MLMs out there, is we are in the business of transactions. You know, Rodent and Fields, great product. I've used it. You hand them something and you say, use this instead of Noxzema. Bye. Done. It's a transaction. That's all. Okay. And I'm sure there's support, and I'm sure there's questions, and I'm sure they celebrate the successes of people's skin transformations and stuff like that. But we're asking people to do a lot. So we need to be having really good conversations with people. We're asking people to change the way they eat. We're asking people to change the way they shop. We're asking people to get up at 4:00 in the morning and work out. We're asking people to share. We're asking people to post. We're asking people to be on their phones and in Facebook and checking into groups. So, you know, it's really important that we're having good conversations that really want to inspire people to do this. This is my little about me slide that I always do, but Lindsay covered all of it. And I loved how she said, like, yes, these are accolades. Yes, this is a coach resume that I've built over 5 years of consistency, 100%, like 5 years of consistency. I don't do any work differently than what I teach my team. I power hour the same way everyone else does with a business activity tracker. Hi. I do a once a week team call. I don't spend tons and tons of money on trainings or anything crazy like that. I literally do what the company has laid out for us. I do what my upline taught me. I just do it every day. And I do it in like a 10X mentality. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the 10X rule by Grant Cardone. So those are the accolades. You guys know who this call is for. Again, time and consistency is how you get this same rap sheet. So before we get started, one thing I want you guys to do in regards to connecting and inviting and having conversations with people is to just immediately just drop all your judgments you have about it. Whether it's inviting to the coach opportunity, whether it is asking people to get the deluxe mega pack for $400. I sold like 6 of them when 80-day obsession rolled out because I wasn't afraid to ask. Okay. So, and just always remember, you're not connecting and messaging and doing this work for the people who don't want it. Okay. The minute you allow those judgments and that ego and those negative self-talks and those people aren't going to want to spend money on that, I'm that annoying MLM person. The minute you do that, you're working your business for all the people who would never want Beachbody anyway. You're working your business for all the people who would never spend $160 on themselves. You're working your business for people that don't want what we have. And when you do that, you're limiting yourself into finding the people who do 100%. You have a why in this business. You have a passion for why we do what we do. You have a reason behind what made you sign up. It's because you believe in what we do. So you need to go out and share that gift and be able to do it fearlessly and without the judgments. So before we even get in, just drop your judgments and know I'm going to teach you guys a lot of stuff that you can do. Maybe you do some of it already. Maybe you are going to implement some of it. Maybe you're going to do it in a little bit different way because you already kind of do what I do, but you're going to try and do it this way and that might feel better to you or whatnot. But just know that you're doing this to put more people on this call. You're doing this to fill that challenge group. You're doing this so that you have someone who can bump into you in Target and start to cry because you virtually helped them lose 50 pounds. Okay. So if you're worried about getting back a nasty message or being ignored, like who cares? Who cares? I don't care. I certainly do not care. So before you even start, and this is just a really quick slide, but before you even start to wrap your mind around inviting, there's two things that are going to be super important. To do inviting in a really good way where you're in like what Jeff Matheson always calls the wheelhouse, where like everything is working for you. You have to be adding to your network every single day. And I know your Instagram trainings align with that like fantastically, with the Captivate and everything. Like you guys know how to do that. You know how to go in and hit the add friend button. You know how to follow hashtags. You know how to do that, but you have to do it consistently and you have to share. If any of you are ultimate Portion Fix master coaches, some of the better posts I've put out lately and some of the better content I've put out lately is literally the social media training that Autumn handed us that I almost shared verbatim. I always put my own kind of twist on stuff, but it's like fantastic content. So you have to be adding and you have to be sharing. And if you're adding and sharing consistently, inviting should come a lot easier to you because it all kind of goes hand in hand. Also, you need to know that with that consistency, it helps build that trust. People need to know you, like you, trust you. It takes time. Every conversation you have, every post you do, every like you put up, every comment you make, every second that you are spending on social media, you're planting a seed. You're leaving a thought in someone's head. Someone is laying eyes on you. And when you then take it that step further from the posting and the adding, and you're actually connecting with people, it boosts the affinity, it drives up the algorithms. When you send those messages and those connections, it keeps you in their newsfeed so that they keep seeing your stuff. So, a lot of times people that I invite or people that I talk to or people have been watching me for a really long time, and they're not going to want to work with someone who's inconsistent. They're just not. So where can you connect from? Okay, there's so many places you can connect from. I feel like we get stuck in a Facebook and Instagram tunnel where everyone's like, okay, if you're going to be a Beachbody coach, you have to get on Facebook and Instagram and you have to post and you have to be annoying and you have to send cold messages and you have to do this and you have to do that. There are so many ways to connect with people, like so many ways. And I find that we get stuck in this like tunnel where we are just looking for like new people. Like we just want to be like adding people, or we want to go viral, or we want to have that great post. And we're focused on like imaginary freaking people that like we don't even know that we're not connected with. So, you can connect from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, email, face-to-face, events, LinkedIn, fit clubs, Beachbody Live, all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of ways that you can be connecting with people and taking pictures where you're able to tag people and sharing in groups of your social bubbles and things like that. Danielle Natoni did a training in the Beachbody Champions page. I don't know if you guys watched it. It was like beyond social media. And she talked about just like getting out in your community and looking up from your phones and like opening your eyes and just saying to people like, what are you drinking? Or, where do you work out? Like just simple stuff like that we don't do enough of. Something that was really successful for a coach I know was LinkedIn. Like she is just straight up on LinkedIn, like connecting with people like a mad woman, messaging people through LinkedIn, talking to people through LinkedIn, capturing emails through LinkedIn. Something that worked really well for me was the completely underrated Fit Club. I live in a neighborhood where there's like 1,000 homes and we have a clubhouse and a park. Okay. You got to work out. It's one of our vital behaviors. You have to work out. Invite people to work out with you. It's free. It's easy. They see Beachbody on demand. I mean, I did a ton of fit clubs, and that's actually what inspired me to be a Beachbody Live instructor. And now I teach Insanity Live, and I actually get paid for that. And that's kind of separate from what we do now. And we're actually finally a couple years in starting to make money. But for me, I had worked with a push coach a while back, Josh Coates, and he was like, everything that you do in your business, anytime you're going to work, invite your coaches to work with you. Anytime you're going to work out, invite people to work out with you. Anything that you can do in your business where you can bring people along literally side by side with you and allow them to work alongside you, invite them to do it. So I have tons of coaches on my team who are teachers. They invite people to work out in their classroom. All the other teachers from after school. I have volunteered to teach live workouts at my son's school as a fundraiser. I have taught park workouts when we have programs releasing. I've done like the Shift Shop preview workout in a park. I have taught in my neighborhood. I taught a 21-day fix in my neighborhood when we were relaunching Ultimate Portion Fix. I bring literally a Bose radio. I bring the Fit Club waivers, and I bring up my iPad or my laptop and just stream it through the Bose radio, and I tell everyone to bring their own hand weights. These are really easy things that you can be inviting to where you're building connections and community. And if you can get some coaches on your team to come with you, then you're like, this is so-and-so there on my team, this is so-and-so there on my team. And then you're starting to create like a much bigger picture for people. So always think outside the box and how you can bring people along and invite them to do what you do. I signed up from going to a fit club. You can bring Shakeology samples, you can do all that kind of stuff. So now here's kind of like the next step. That was kind of a lot about fit clubs, but I'm super passionate about them because they really helped me build like a strong local community, which is really fun. And I'm able to get together with my coaches. We travel together. We go on the trips together. We go to dinner together, things like that. So this is where I invite from. This is how I invite, who I invite, blah, blah, blah. I go through, and pretty much anyone who likes or comments on my posts gets some sort of message or connection from me or some sort of like or comment back. Very rarely does someone leave anything on my social media where I don't go to their page and at the very least hit a like button on a cute picture of their kids myself. Like, it's just very rare. You already have, that should say current followers. Oh, people who already follow me. So like I've used Teamsy in the past, for example, or in the past I have gone through the alphabet and I've literally brought up the letter A on my Facebook friends list and used that as a list. I like to work from lists, and I'm going to show you a lot of different lists that I use. I am like the list master. And it's really, truly, these lists are how I have 63 months in Success Club. If I were to give the credit to any one thing on this call more than anything, it's going to be these lists that I show you. So it's all the people who already follow me. Those are people that you can invite and connect with. The people who fill out my forms, I'm going to show you my forms. New customers, existing customers, working coaches, and discount coaches. Okay, these three are enormous. Existing customers, working coaches, and discount coaches are like the most underrated business booster we have. They generate volume, and we make full-time incomes off of volume. Okay, that's where it comes from. These people are the real MVPs of your business. Okay, and I think very often we're so focused on finding 3 new people who might even just fall off a month later and not even renew their Shakeology because we just want to say we hit Success Club. We forget that we can turn hundreds of points in volume, if not thousands of points in volume, with the people we already have, the people on the bench, the people that we're putting at risk to leave behind, the people that we're not following through on our promises with. And then you're taking that away from your team because volume is a team building thing. You make more money. You help your coaches make more money. So, always be inviting from your existing customers, always be inviting from your working coaches. If you are going to be doing a program, you need to make sure that all of your working coaches are doing a program. If you're going to do a 3-day refresh, get as many of your working coaches as you can doing the 3-day refresh. And maybe you guys don't run team-wide groups. Maybe you do. I kind of have a feeling like you guys have that kind of dynamic where you all work together. I offer everything I do to my downline. I do think at some point there is some level up leadership that needs to be happening. I think people need to see a space where they can rise in and take on that leadership role. But I offer everything I do to everyone, one team, one tribe. The discount coaches should not go inactive. Okay. They just should not. Like, you see an inactive coach, they get a message. They get a message from me every single time. And then people who come to my live classes and my fit clubs. My fit clubs, I will talk about the coaching opportunity, challenge groups, upcoming challenges, Shakeology, things like that. The people that come to my fit clubs, I get in front of them a lot, and that's just a really great way to get them to start following me. My live classes. They typically will ask me, but I don't bring it up at my live Beachbody live classes. I like to keep that separate. That was a tip I got from Danielle Natoni. She kind of was like, I don't talk about challenge groups. I don't talk about Shakeology. I wear and share. I have my Shakeology cup. They see what I'm drinking. They see me drinking my Energize. If they want to ask me, I tell them I'll talk to them after class. But her one goal when she walks in is just to give them a great class. And I've adopted that, and it seemed to work for me. It's been great attraction marketing. I love being an instructor. If you think it is something that you want to do, I do recommend it. I think it's a really great way to connect with, reach with, and get in front of more people. I think it's a great resume builder for you as a coach. And I think if you're unsure, start getting consistent with Fit Club. Start teaching like a once a week Fit Club and grow that, and see if it's something that you truly enjoy. See if it's something that you really want to show up for. See if it's something that you're getting a following, but give it time. Give it like a year. I probably did consistent Fit Clubs for like a year alongside another coach on my team. And we both are actually live instructors that teach together still now. They love us together and we'll probably never separate. So, you know, I recommend if you haven't jumped into like the consistent Fit Clubs to try that. So, you know, these are all the people that you can be talking to. And I think it's so easy to pick up this business activity tracker and be like, okay, invite 5 people to join a challenge group or learn about the coaching opportunity for 15 minutes. Okay, you can do that. And I do want you to do that. That's very important that you at least do that. But there's so much more that you can do. So I like to just lay that out there. Like, it's okay to call your inviting for the day your existing coaches, your working coaches, and your discount coaches if you're connecting with 30 people that day. It's okay. That's still very worthwhile work that you don't need to feel bad about, that you didn't send, 32 cold invites to random people that aren't going to answer you, So what do you invite to? I think this is really important, and this really helps to think outside the box, because I think a lot of people, for whatever reason, seem to have trouble inviting to the 2 biggest things that we have: an upcoming challenge or the coach opportunity. I'm not afraid to invite to either. I wholeheartedly believe in them both. I think that they are amazing opportunities, and I think they cost next to nothing for what you're going to get. That's what I believe. And I'm really good at creating that value for my customers. Like, really, really, really good at it. I break down what Shakeology costs in a day. I explain that if you follow my meal plans, you'll be saving money at the grocery store because you're not going to be putting Oreos and Tostitos and Ben and Jerry's and all these other little convenience foods and things. You're going to be meal prepping and planning, and help you with that. So you're going to be eating out less. And I really create like a great value in what we do. Same thing with the coach opportunity. I'm like, it's $15 a month. That's it. Like, I don't overcomplicate it. In fact, I dumb it down. I'm like, look, this is the only thing that's required of you, $15. That's it. It's not a scam. The only thing that is required of you is $15. Like, that is it. So, I'm really good at kind of underwhelming them, but then creating a huge value all in the same time, which sounds really contradictory, but it's true. Like, I just shoot them very straight. I'm like, no, it's really very simple. Or I'm like, no, this is going to really change things for you, and here's how. Free groups. I feel like we don't see Beachbody coaches, at least I don't see as many free groups going out there anymore. They're a great way to capture people. And at the end, I'm going to talk about how you can kind of piggyback them on some of the principles of our programs already. 3-day refresh. Volume's low. You don't have Success Club. Your challenge group timing is weird, where you're like, oh my God, this group doesn't start for 3 weeks, but I'm at 4. Like, sometimes it shakes out funny where you're like, crap, like I need to get inviting, but it's not going to help me by the end of the month. Okay. 3-day refresh. 3-day refresh. Do you want 3 days worth of Shakeology, or do you want 30 days worth of Shakeology? If you do that, you're going to get your cleanse for $30. Okay. 3-day refresh is an easy sell, especially right now with summer. You can just ask people if they want to try Shakeology. You can just ask people if they want to try Daily Sunshine. They have 4 kids. You think that they feed 4 kids healthy organic meals every day when you see them at the T-ball field every day? Like, hey, have you ever considered, I see that you're like an extremely busy working mom with 4 kids and 30 activities. Like, I just want to ask you something. Like, have you ever considered trying Daily Sunshine? Like, I give it to Luca on the go all the time. Okay. Energize. Go back through your already existing customers, your already existing coaches, your discount coaches. Hey, quick question for you. Have you tried Energize? Did you even see that we released Fruit Punch? I have a couple here. Do you want me to mail you a sample? Little things like that. All these little connections over time, they seem insignificant. They really do add up. I have tons of free meal plans. Sometimes when in doubt, I'll go, like if I'm like really drawing at straws here, and like I told you, like I do a lot of this, but not all of this in a given day. Sometimes if I'm really like pulling at straws just to kind of connect with people, if I feel like my likes are down, if I feel like I'm not getting enough messages sent to me, like people reaching out to me, I'll go to like Facebook and I'll just like pick a letter. Like let's say it's L for my son, Luca. and I'll just message people like a free meal plan. Like, hey, I've been working on these meal plans. They're free. Here's your first one. If you want more, fill out my form. Give me your email address. If you make it, let me know how it works out. You know, like, hey, surprise, I wanted to give you a little gift. And I'm going to go over my forms and how I do that later. Clean week. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't want to spend $160 on Shakeology and BOD, but I don't really know anyone that wouldn't be willing to get fit for $29. Like $29, like you really can't do much better than that. Meal plan, Shakeology, workouts, beginner level. Like you don't have to necessarily, and here's the other thing. I think we're so focused on like, we have to run a challenge with everything that we do. Like, oh, I would love to invite people to Clean Week, but nobody's running a group. Okay, don't run a group. Like sell them Clean Week, put them on your follow-up list, follow up with them when it arrives, follow up with them on day 3, follow up with them on day 7, send a calendar invite. You know what I mean? Or just let them know like, hey, I don't have a group for this, but based on like what you're telling me, I think this is something that could be really great for you. If you want to give this a try and keep me posted along the way, if this works out well for you, we consider another group down the road, or you could just keep repeating this if you like it, you know, even though we know the expectation is to filter them into our next group. 14-day BOD trial, MM100's coming. There's going to be people that are interested in MM100 that have never worked out with you before, and they're going to want to sit and wait until MM100 comes out. Get them started on a BOD trial. Get them started on Clean Week. Be like, in the meantime, why don't we get you moving? Why don't we get your feet wet? Why don't we get your fingers wet? Do you have hand weights at home? You're going to need those. Maybe you should pick them up a little before we get started. You know, I don't think that's going to be the easiest program that's come through the arsenal. I'm not in that test group. I haven't seen it, but by the looks of it, I think that we're not going to want to just take people off the couch and into that program. Invite people to a fit club, invite people to a live class, go be an instructor. This is something I do, and this is something I teach people on my team to do when they're just so uncomfortable with inviting, they literally want to go like throw up in the toilet or just like cancel their coach account. I ask them to invite people to be a tester, but I don't like the word tester because there's other MLMs that do it, but for our purposes, we'll call it a tester. But when 2B Mindset came out, I was like, Jesus, why haven't I been having everyone track their food? And when 2B Mindset came out, I was like, why didn't we journal our first 21-day fix? Like that was like one of my biggest regrets looking back on like my first round of 21-day fix. I signed up as a coach with the first round of 21-day fix, and it was on like a 3-week back order, and it was like amazing. And I'm like, looking back, I'm like, I should have kept the diary or a journal. I would refer to it all the time. So when 2B Mindset came out and it was like, drink this outrageous amount of water, and journal everything. Those were 2 like really big game changers for me that I'm really passionate about, whether I'm eating Ultimate Portion Fix like I am now, or whether I'm eating 2B Mindset like I ate for almost over a year. Message people. If inviting literally makes you want to just like go jump off my back deck, message people and be like, hi, just wanted to ask you a question. Would you mind doing me a favor and track how much water you drink tomorrow and get back to me? That's all. I'm doing some research for my new nutrition certification, and I need to know on average, how many moms I know that work, how much water they drink at their desk. And for me, before I had my son, I was a licensed esthetician. So then I can translate that into hair, skin, and nails, which then I can translate into Shakeology, blah, blah, blah. Or just say to people like, hey, I'm doing a little research just to see how many meals people actually do eat in a day, or what times people eat in a day. Would you mind journaling everything you eat for the next 3 days and get back to me? And if you want to, you could do a before and an after weight for me. If you don't want to share that, that's fine. But like the minute you ask them to journal what they're eating for 3 days, do you really think that they're going to write down McDonald's breakfast and all these other things? Like right away, you have given them just a tiny dose of accountability. And then they're going to give you the information you need to sell them on what we have. Now, I'm not saying you have to go back and do that. You could just very simply, when they provide you with the information, be like, thank you so much. Like, how did you feel? Did you feel good about this? And let me just ask you one other question. Do you think you changed the way you ate because I asked you to do this? Or is this like pretty much what you always do? And then it kind of goes from there. I mean, granted, there's been people who have tracked water for me and been like, yep, no problem. I always drink tons of water. Bye. That's the nature of messaging. It's okay. But be creative and connect it back to your mission. Like, you can message people and be like, hey, quick question. Like, would you mind just jotting down over the next 3 days how many servings of protein and how many servings of carbs you've had today in a day? little things like that. Something that I teach my team to do in regards to coaching and the coach opportunity, because this is where they just don't. I mean, people just don't. And I don't even always do it. So, I'm being honest. I'm going to be completely honest with you. This is where people just don't. I'm not afraid to, but as you can see, I invite in so many different ways that sometimes I fall into phases where I'm like, okay, I really got to lean into like the coaching invites and I got to send more of those, or let's get a coach op on the calendar so we can all start inviting that together. But in particular with the coach opportunity, a lot of coaches just will ask for a referral. Hey, as you can see, I've been working as a fitness coach for 6 months now. I'm always looking for confident, happy, compassionate people to join my team. If you are I'll say, if you know anyone who might be interested in that, would you please send them my way? Happy Tuesday. And then they're like, well, I'm a confident, happy, compassionate, fun person. Why don't you? I would maybe be interested. So that, or they'll be like, it's funny. My neighbor was just talking about that at work, or my coworker was just talking about Beachbody coaches in the break room. And I'm like, oh, well, I would love to talk to you guys about it. And then I wrap them in together, and then boom, you've got like an emerald. You're halfway to emerald with someone. You know what I mean? So it kind of helps to just set the expectation. Like, do you know anyone? AKA you're going down and you're coming along. You know what I mean? And then this is something that we are very good at. We do a lot of Snoop groups, and we do a lot of sneak peek groups, and we do a lot of live sales where we just tack on gift card incentives to all purchases. So we do one like once every other month. We did one last month, and then we said we probably won't do one again until MM100 releases in July. So we kind of set the expectation for people like, hey, if you're interested, like you're not going to get better pricing because we're going to be offering gift cards with purchase. So we always have like a challenge pack that's like the featured one. And it typically aligns with our challenge group. We did it for Transform 20. We did it for Ultimate Portion Fix. We don't like to do it when it's like the launch month because we don't feel like we should have to do that during a launch month. The volume's good, things like that. But that's kind of its own topic. And Lindsay, I would love to mastermind with you about launching before MM100 comes out, because I have some stuff that's worked really well for us, and I'd be curious what you do. So maybe we can kind of mastermind something with something like our Star Diamonds or Diamond coaches, or even just me and you, or something. I would love to chat with you about that and kind of get an idea. I have a group that has like 700 people in it that we use. It's great. So we can talk about that another time. But this is what I do. This is what like my go-to invite. I do it weekly in a batch because I'm the type of person like Lindsay, I see you sitting there with baby in lap. Like some days I just can't. And I don't like to do it from an inauthentic mindset. Like it can't be a have to for me. It has to be a want to. Because then I just feel like I'm forcing it. I feel like they don't get the best of me, blah, 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 blah. So Beachbody suggests 5 a day to hit Success Club. Like that's like their threshold. I mean, I think that's like bare bones minimum, honestly. I think that is a little bit of a dated statistic, if I'm being honest. I think a lot of coaches portray that they do 5 a day. And if they're not hitting Success Club, they probably don't, or they do like 5 a day for 3 weeks out of the month, but not the 4th week. I think there's got to be some inconsistencies, because I really do think if you invite 5 people a day for 365 days in the year, like you should have some decent results. But regardless, I double that to 10, and then I times it by 7, which gives me 70. And then I round that to 100 because I have that like rhino mentality. I shoot for 100. That's my goal of connections, messages, etc. that I want to make for the week. When I do that, I always hit Success Club. Always, always, always. So where do you find those 100 people? You're like, oh my God, that's like so many people. It doesn't have to be 100 people. It can be 35 people. But the reason I do it weekly in a batch is I feel so much better about that when I shoot that off on a Sunday and Monday, because it is done. It's not lingering. And then I can take the rest of the week to have long, slow, and involved conversations with people, which obviously you don't want to fall down the tunnel of talking about like cats and like who knows what else. But, you know, you want to get to the point. but you're sending invites. They know the point. But it gives me time to really ask the right questions, provide the right information, explain, set up a phone call, send voice messages, like really talk to people and get to know them and make those connections that we're talking about. So I sit down and I go through all my posts on Facebook and Instagram from the week before. And I start writing down names without overthinking it. Like if that name is there, I write it down, write it down, write it down, write it down, write it down every time. Then I take that list and I break it apart. I start looking at who they are. And if I have to, I go click on their page and I do a little of exploring. And I say to myself, okay, we have coaches, we have customers, we have challengers, we have people who've never worked with me before. So then I start making cold and warm messages. Okay. I organize them into their piles. I send all the cold to an assistant. I pay her about $10 a week to do this. And then I take the warm because that's authentic. But the cold helps with that Facebook affinity. They have a purpose, okay? They don't make me feel great, but I know they have a purpose, and I know it keeps me in people's news feeds, and I know it keeps people following me. This is an example of my cold invite that I sent to my assistant. I keep them in Google Docs. So everything that gets sent is tracked. Like all the lists and all the names are right there in Google Docs, and I date it for the week of whatever. I'm really flexible with her. If it goes off Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I'm not overly worried about it as long as it goes off at the beginning of the week. That way I have like the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the weekend even to go through it. I include a form. Like I said, if you want to take a screenshot of this, it's fine, but I have the sides I can send. So then I have a form. These are kind of my forms. But before I jump into that, if it doesn't get me to my 100 people, because sometimes it doesn't. Like sometimes I do those messages and I'm like, or I make that list and I'm like, shit, I only have like 50 people. And then I go back and I look at my social media content. It gives me a chance to like audit myself. Like if it's hard for me to get to the 100 people, like I go back and look and I'm like, well, I didn't post very consistently, or I didn't offer this, or I didn't share my family enough. I didn't go back and do some of the things that I know work. So it gives me a chance. Or I can say to myself like, all right, where did I add my followers from this week? My new eyes. Did I use good social bubbles? Do I need to find some new places to add people? Do I need to change that? Like the way you guys do such a great job following through like hashtags and accounts and stuff. Like, do you need to reevaluate that? So the weeks that I'm falling short, I'm like, okay, where am I adding from? Do I need to add in a better and different way? But if it doesn't get me my 100, then I start backtracking. I go to my forms. Excuse me, let me get a drink. So these pictures are like really blurry, but I do a post and then I drop my intake forms in the comments, and they're all really specific. So I don't know if you can see my pointer. Can you see my pointer? All right, this one's Portion Fix. This one's Transform 20. This is coaches. This is To Be Mindset. This is free 7-day meal plans. This is just 2019 goals, Lift 4, Pumpkin Spice Shakeology. There was like 200 people on this list. There's like 200 people on this list. I go back through those forms and I put follow-ups on there. So now like I'm warm inviting, I'm cold inviting, and I'm following up. You know, I might follow up with someone who was interested in Lift 4 and never ordered anything. Hey, I know you were interested last summer when Lift 4 came out. We have a new program coming out, MM100. Are you doing anything for workouts or nutrition right now? Are you still interested? Can I help you? Like these Lift 4 people that were interested a year ago, they're still interested. I watched my coach for almost a year. Like they're still interested. So I have all these forms with all these people on it. Every single person on every single form gets a message from me when a product launches. Every single one of these people is getting an email or a message from me when MM100 launches, whether they've bought, whether they've signed up as a coach, whatever. If they're my coaches, hey, you're doing MM100, right? Are you doing my group? Do you have your own group? What's going on here? You know? Or I'll go on my team page. Who's doing MM100 with me? And then they all start commenting. Who's going to join my group? Who's going to add to my group? Okay, they're all adding. I see a name, they're a coach. I'm like, they didn't say they were going to do my group. What are they doing? Are they not doing it? Are they doing something else? If they're doing something else, that's fine. But it's my job to know what they're doing, you know? So there's that. Then these are kind of what the forms look like. This is the one of the Google forms. This is kind of a screenshot. I couldn't get it all because you had to kind of like scroll up with it. But these are just some simple questions that are on the form. These forms do the work for me, which really simplifies the process. And the form I'm using for Ultimate Portion Fix Master Coach, if you go to my profile and you dig, you'll find one. Or if actually it's easier if you just go to my Instagram, Megan Sai, MEGANSAI, and go to my link tree. It's there. It's literally verbatim the questions that Autumn gave us to use. Current weight, top 3 health and fitness goals, biggest struggle with food, why do you want to do this group? Have you ever tried other programs in the past? They literally give you all the information you need to sell the program. And people will literally reach out to me and be like, so what's this container thing? I'm interested. Can you tell me more? I'm like, I can tell you more, but I need you to fill out this form first, because this form will help me help you better. This will help me better understand. And I even will say to people, please fill out this form for me. This will help me determine if this program is right for you. And trust me, I will tell you if it's not. Like, if you're not willing, if you've tried other fitness programs in the past, and they write down all these food programs that they failed on, like, we need to have a talk about why. Because I don't want to sell you something that's not going to work. You know what I mean? So there's that. Then basically, I feel like that was kind of Facebook heavy. It's the same process on Instagram. And I know you guys are Instagram gurus because I'm doing your training right now. I'm about to do the 3rd call. Last week we had Chris Downing. This week we have this. And then I'm going to pick up where I left off. But those calls are fantastic. Here's my link tree. Same process. Filling out the forms, going into the IG stories, screenshotting the forms, telling people to click on the link in my bio, fill out the forms, blah, blah, blah. And then do you guys use Flume? Okay. This is like the greatest extension of all time for Instagram. I'm actually going to just kind of show it to you. I have little things like, these are like small and blurry, but if you notice, I put little things over people's names, not because I care if you guys see, but I'm like, this could end up on YouTube. And if that was my name on this list and I was just a challenger, I just feel like that could be a little weird. But I think it's okay because it's Instagram. So this is Flume. If you have a Mac, it's a MacBook extension. And it's super easy to use. So here's my profile. Here's my link tree. It's going to take me to link tree. And I can see it from here. This thing is amazing. You can change the views. Right? Yeah. So I can change it to the feed. I can change it to explore. I can change it to combos. And I can literally, this is one of the coaches on my team, have my chats on my computer, like right here. So this is super helpful. So basically I do like the same exact thing that I do with Facebook. And then I just transfer it over and I do it again on Instagram. So then I go into my Instagram, I click on my post, I write down everyone's names. I go into Messenger. I have the forms, all that. The other thing I use often is Streak. And I used to use Teamsy. And if you're someone who sucks at inviting, I highly recommend you try Teamsy because you can get 30 days for free. And it's organized so beautifully. And you type in your goals and your income goals, and it tells you like exactly how many people to be inviting to hit like your income goals, blah, 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 blah. You can do a 30-day trial. I don't know if you guys have ever used it. You can do it as a team. Like you can see each other's dashboards. So you can see like if me and Lindsay and Mandy and Sam all decided to do it, we can like hook it up and you can go in and be like, oh, Lindsay's dashboard is complete. She's checked all the boxes. Like she's connected with new people, old people, existing customers, existing coaches, blah, blah, blah. It like categorizes everyone for you, which is really nice. So I feel like this really helps create the habit, whether or not you pay the $29 or whatever it is to use it. Actually, it's the next slide. Let me just jump ahead real quick. It's just a really great resource to help create that habit of inviting people. It doesn't download from Instagram, at least it didn't when I used it, but I just feel like it's a really great start. I also use Google Streak. When we get those emails about bod renewals, Shakeology, when you log in and see that you have inherited coaches, your already existing customers, emails of people that came to your fit club, emails of people that came to Insanity Live, emails off your form. So like when MM100 releases, like I'll go into the UPF client intake form and I'll create a pipeline that says that UPF, and I'll send them all an email blast about MM100. Or, you know, I'll take last week's Insanity Live class, for example. I haven't done this in forever, and I'll just be like, just wanted to let you know, vegan recover launch today, great for post-workout soreness. I typically don't cross those. It's probably a bad example, but just to give you an idea, you can literally take anything that has an email attached to it, drop it in here and send a blast. You can literally connect with like 200 people at one time. It's 200 invites. I mean, it's 200 invites. You can go in and you can run a report of all your inactive coaches and be like, hey guys, Vegan Recover today. Like, who got it? Like, those are invites, guys. Like, those are invites. Those are connections. Let me turn this off because now it's going to make noise. Okay. So I use Google Streak a lot for that. I don't have the paid version. I just let me send however many emails it lets you send for free. I don't know. But like, here's January bod renewal, for example. 52 people got an email from me. Hey, just wanted to let you know your Beachbody On Demand is going to renew this month. We have Transform 20. If you're going to let the bod renew, it's cost effective to do it as Transform 20, or it's cost effective to do it this way, blah, 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 blah. Reach out to me. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you want to cancel it, I need to know that too. Let me help you. You know, things like that. That's 52 people you might not otherwise talk to. That's 52 chances for volume. And that's 52 opportunities, even with the $99 bod, to make 39 bucks. Okay. To make $39. I mean, there's so many other ways besides Success Club. You know, how many is that? 52 times 39? It's $2,000, right? That sounds like a lot. Let me do that math again. Yeah, it's $2,000, guys. It's $2,000 if you sold 50 bods. Like, and these people are sitting here and they just want bod. So give them bod. You know what I mean? Like, we get so focused on like the 3 people that might not even stay on Shakeology next month. And trust me, I'm a big advocate for Success Club. Like Lindsay said, I hit it 63 times. Like, it's a priority. It's very important to me. But there's so many ways to connect with people, give them what they need, keep them coming along with you. So we talked about Teamsy. And then this is my last slide. I really want to encourage you guys to think outside the box and the things that you share too. This has been something that's been really helpful for me. I've used Instacart a lot, and people message me all the time asking me about Instacart. Hey, didn't you use Instacart? How'd you like it? Which grocery store did you use? Did you use Giant? Did you use Acme? Did you use Lidl? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God, let me get you a code. Hold on. I get them the code. Then Instacart will email me and be like, hey, you know, just wanted to let you know that so-and-so signed up with your referral bonus. You got 10 bucks. They got 10 bucks. Yay. I really don't care about the 10 bucks, but I love being able to be like, hey, saw you signed up for Instacart. Just finished a meal plan for this week. Thought I'd shoot it over to you in case you need help filling it. Like, fill in that cart. Not sure what you're going to put in. Or I'll just message them and be like, oh my God, yes. Like, thanks for asking. Here's a referral code. And let me know if you need any help with what's going in that cart. Wink, wink. They know I'm all about the healthy eating. It's not going to come as a shock to them. They're asking me because they know I'm about the healthy eating. The other thing is, I just did a kid's Stitch Fix box for my son. I have like 12 messages in my inbox right now. Moms, my son's age, who don't like to shop, who want to try on clothes at home, who don't want to take their 5-year-old into a dressing room. Okay. Now I'm connecting and having conversations with people that are like me. And then this one I love. This is Trunk Club, which is like the Nordstrom clothes referral service. And I get a box every month, and every time someone signs up, like, you get these $50 credits. Like, just that screen alone, there's $150 in like free Nordstrom clothes, which is great. But again, here's all these people who are willing to pay for clothes at Nordstrom. They're probably going to be willing to pay for clothes when the Beachbody apparel line launches. And now I have all their emails, and I have like 5 pages of those emails. So, you know, I'm really learning to like connect with my people through these things. Whenever I buy something on Amazon, I share it. People constantly ask me for Amazon links, and my influencer page is like messed up and they're not getting back to me, which is super annoying. But I'm not overly worried about that. Like, I can't begin to tell you how many times people have messaged me and been like, what bento box do you use for Luca again? What non-spill cups do you use? Like, all the little things that I buy. And I do this a lot with skincare too, because I was an esthetician. So any skincare products I love or hair products I love that I use, I share them. And not because I want to come on Facebook and Instagram and everything and look like I'm just always promoting that you spend money and that you buy something. But I think that like what ends up happening with people is it helps build trust. Like, people are like, oh, let me buy this $9.99 like Bubba Flow cup that Megan uses that never leaks, that never spills. And what do you know? It never leaks. It never spills. Let me buy these bento boxes that she swears by, that she makes these colorful lunches for Luca that he loves to eat out of because it's arranged in this little box. And then what do you know? They're being more creative with the way their kids are eating or the foods that they're putting in it, and they're giving their kids more variety in their diet, and their kids are actually eating it. And they're like, oh, what do you know? Like, she was right about that. And then they see a post from my challenge group where I'm like, who wants to, start portioning their food, try Shakeology and do a 30-minute workout every day? And they're like, well, damn, I like everything else she puts out, so I might as well try this too, kind of thing. And when you use like referral codes and stuff like that, you can find out who those people are, the people who are watching, the people who are clicking, people who are buying the things you want to buy, doing the things you want to buy. It reminds me of like that neighborhood referral or the conversations you have with your friends. Like, I signed up because my friend was doing it. I trusted my friend the same way I would get Instacart because my friend said she would do it. Like, my friend said she was going to do a challenge group, so I did a challenge group. My friend got Instacart, so I got Instacart. Like, you start creating these relationships with people who are like-minded, which I think is super important. So that's kind of all I have. So as you can see, like, I attack it from lots of different angles in lots of different ways, like lots of different ways. And, I think it's all really catered to what the company has to offer. Like, you can pretty much guarantee that June's going to heavily focus on MM100 for my team. Like, that's where we're going to be doing the bulk of our inviting. And, maybe we won't talk about the coaching opportunity as much because we'll be offering the coaching opportunity to all the people who are interested in MM100. Okay, do you want to do this as a challenger, or do you want to do this as a coach? It's 100 workouts, okay? This isn't a 30-day program. This is a 100-day program. I'm asking you to drink Shakeology or a performance line with this. You're going to need more than 30 days to do the 100-day program. To do the 100-day program, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have to pay this, and then you're going to have 2 more shipments. Do you want to save the money on those 2 shipments? If so, we need to do that as a discount coach. So, I like to take a look at like everything that we have going on, and then I like to fill in the gaps. So I like to have kind of like a plan for what we're doing and then fill in the gaps in other ways. If I see that volume is down, we fill that in with 3-day refreshes. We can fill that in with clean weeks. We can fill that in with other things. We can do like a product highlight each month, things like that. But there's so many other ways to keep that volume up, to keep that retention up, to keep the commissions coming in and so on. So that I will stop the share. And then let me come down to the chat. Oh, what happened? I made the chat go away.
You have like fire in the chat. People are just like, yes, loving it.
Yay. Okay. How do you make the forms for people to fill out? I just use Google Forms. So I use those forms I have are Google Forms where you can like make the questions, and then it's just like a copy paste link, it populates. And then my invites that I send to like my assistant, I use Google Docs, and then it's all saved there, and it's not on my computer because I have like storage issues on my computer now. Do you need any certifications to teach a Fit Club or a Beachbody class? So you don't need certifications to teach a Fit Club. In the Coach Online office, Beachbody has a Fit Club waiver, which is basically the thing that like scrolls on the screen, and they just have you get a signature on it. And I have this gigantic file cabinet that I just stuff them in, which is so aggravating. I wish they could figure out a way to do it like electronically. So I'm like, what do I do with all these things? How long do I need to keep them? I don't even know. And then to teach a Beachbody Live, like Insanity Live, PiYo, Quarter Force Live, things like that, you need to go get certified. It's like $250. Sometimes they go on sale for like $99. You go away for the day. Like I drove to New Jersey and sat through with Danielle and Tony. You get a big binder. I think I have it here. If you guys ever wanted me to do a call on like what's involved with being an instructor, I could do that too. And then they give you like all these rounds and stuff to study. And every month they give you a new round and you watch it and you learn it and you pay a pro fee and all that stuff. But like, I absolutely love it. But like I said, if you think that's something you want to get into, I highly recommend getting consistent with Fit Clubs first and make sure that it's your jam, because it's not for everyone. Like for some people, the virtual is enough, you know? I wouldn't get it just to be able to call yourself an instructor. I would get it because you've been doing Fit Clubs for a long time. You love it. You're dying to get out and connect with people that way. So with the Fit Club, what I do is, I mean, if you have a house, I don't like to bring people to my house because I used to work here as an esthetician and I found that people just don't leave, which sounds awful, but I'm busy, man. And I got my son to pick up and places to be, showers to take most days, not every day. But I used to wax eyebrows downstairs and people would just like not leave. So then your 30-minute workout is now like a hour-long workout, 2-hour-long workout. then you got to feed people sometimes. But I typically will just go into like my neighborhood page and be like, park workout at 9 a.m. And guys, let me tell you, like when I first started doing it, like one person would come and it was a little awkward, but I'm like, they're interested. So I'm just going to get to know them and I'm gonna be like, all right, let's work out. I got to do this workout anyway. Might as well work out with one person, which turns into 2 people, which turns into 3 people. And then they bring a friend. And, you know, it doesn't happen overnight, but the more consistently you do it, the more people start to show up. Another thing is people will start asking like tons of questions. And sometimes I'm just too tired to even explain to them how it works. And like, if they live locally or close by or they're a mom at my son's school, I'm like, you just want to do a workout together? I got to do it anyway. It's just easier this way. And it works almost every time. Getting on the phone with people and getting in front of people and actually showing it to them works almost every single time. So if you're able to do that, I mean, you know, a lot of times on Instagram and stuff, I'm like, oh, you're in the UK. Okay. Type, like a lot of typing. But like, if they live in my town or their kids go to my son's school, like get in front of them. They're way more likely to buy that way. Yep, you have to be certified. Let me see. How is a fit club different from a challenge group? I mean, I guess you could do like a 21-day fit club where you all work out at the same time every day. But then like, why would anyone invest kind of thing? So I give them like just enough. Like as soon as we have an MM100 preview, like I will likely do that somewhere public and like promote it or whatever. Or I've seen a lot of other teams like promote it, like who wants to do this virtually with me on launch day? You know what I mean? Like you can just pick a time with your team and you can all log in, press play, do it together. A lot of times those previews are like in front of the paywall. I remember when Shift Shop, the Proving Grounds came out, I was emailing that, or not emailing, but like messaging, like copying and pasting the link to the workout to people, being like, hey, we have this 25-minute workout that just released. I don't know if you want to try it, but here it is. You don't have to sign up or anything. Because it was literally like in front of the Beachbody On Demand paywall. It was just that like one workout. So when they allow us to have access to it like that, that's something that you can literally just fire off to people and then follow up with them like a day or 2 later. Like, hey, did you try it? No, I didn't, but I want to. Okay, well, when do you think you're going to try it? I'm dying to know what you think. You know, so there's things like that too. Yeah, it's not a group for accountability or anything like that. No wonder I love you so. Oh, you're a stylist? Oh gosh. We could plan one heck of a retreat together.
I know. I was sitting here like listening to you and I'm like, man, she's just so natural at talking to people. And I just like, the more you kept talking, I'm like, I just love her. I feel like we're so much alike. And then you said you're an esthetician and I'm like, okay, there we go.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I use IGDM. It's just like it. Oh, I need to take a peek at that. I would use Flume if I had an Apple computer. Yeah, I'm curious about IGDM. I would love a call or seminar on how to make the Google Doc forms and such to put on Linktree and stuff. I can guarantee if you just go to YouTube, it's already there. And I can guarantee that you're an intelligent person. And if you literally just type in like Linktree, you'll be able to navigate your way through it. Like, and it's easy to just delete it and try again until you get it right. It's really easy to just like go check yourself and stuff. I wouldn't wait on a perfect training set. I would just go to the sites and just dive in and it's pretty self-explanatory stuff. Gotta go. Bye. This is a great call. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, this is so nice. So helpful. Yeah, I'll send this. Oh, keep the waivers for 7 years. Thank you, Sharon. Is streaming good in the park usually? Oh, okay. So that, I have a hotspot on my phone and I have unlimited data. So I've always just done that and it's worked out really well. The other thing I have done is I have a block rocker and I have a Bose wireless radio. Is I've downloaded the workout and then you don't need Wi-Fi. And then I just kind of like stream it through, which I'm not quite sure that's allowed. But I'm a rebel like that. Like I'm not so sure that this is enough to say that they saw what was on the screen, but I'm doing the move. You know what I mean? Like if it's upper fix, I'm like, okay, bicep curls, like Jesus, I can handle this. You know what I mean? But they're hearing it, like it's cueing them through it and everything. So I don't want to say in a public forum that is the right thing to do, but that can always be like a great backup if you're having streaming issues. Like I would have it like on an iPad downloaded or on a phone downloaded. That way you don't have to worry about that, because you never know when you're going to have streaming issues. And I even do that with my music for Insanity Live. Like I have my music on the computer or the pad, and then I always have it backed up on my phone too. I don't like to stream it from my phone, but I really use my phone during the class. But when you teach at Fabletics, is it a Fit Club or BB Live? That's instructor. So they have an instructor program. You couldn't do like a Fit Club in there. They need like, so like Athleta, Lulu, Fabletics, they have like instructor programs where they actually need like your certification. It looks exactly like the Ultimate Portion Fix one. If you guys have that, it just says Insanity Live instructor on it. This is all great information. Thanks. So I talked for a while. I'm sorry.
They're used to me and Amanda, and we always go for an hour. So
Okay.
This is normal.
Oh, good. Does anyone have any questions? Or anything you want to add?
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, go ahead. You can unmute yourself and ask. I know this was a lot of information, but you know, it was a lot of stuff that we do know and a lot of stuff that we don't. Like I literally have 3 pages of notes of just things that I'm like, oh my gosh, why don't I remember to do that? Or I've never heard it like that before, you know, and like using the referral codes and everything. There's so much. So if you guys have any questions, like right now would be the time. But if you come up with one later, I'm sure you can always shoot it my way, or I can get it to her, or ask her directly. But this was awesome. So
yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of go back on like the whole point of this call, it's like inviting, which is just the dirty word of Beachbody. I feel like it's so important, but it shouldn't make you feel bad. It should actually make you feel really good. Like you should be able to find a way to do it that excites you so that you actually get on the computer and you don't dread it. Like you should not dread it. I will say I don't particularly enjoy the act of sitting down and shooting off messages because it's like mindless work. And the way I do it with the batching, it takes a little while. It takes me like an hour and a half, and it takes my assistant like an hour and a half. So it's like 3 hours of just like send, 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 send. But then it's done. Like then I just have it like done, and then I can go about the rest of my week knowing that like I did what was expected of me and what I expected of myself, and I did it in a way that feels good. So, you know, just there's going to be something that I said today that you're like, I can handle that. Like, okay, make sure you do that and then get creative with the way you do the rest of it. But you can't not do it at all. You just can't. Not to grow a business. And you're on this call because you guys want to grow a business. You wouldn't be on this call at 9:00 on a Monday night if you didn't want to grow a business. So some of these things are going to have to happen, but you can do it in a way that works for you for sure.
Yes.
Thanks,
absolutely.
Meg.
I love it. I know that something that Christina always says too is like, especially if there's a ton of information, which is all good, we're going to get off of here and we're going to want to do all the things that we just wrote down. But just like Megan just said, don't try to do all of the things. Just which one can you do and implement right now and start there, and then refer to it and go back and grow. It doesn't need to be like, I need to change my whole business now to run it like Megan's.
Yeah. Pick like 1 or 2 things and just do it consistently for a little while. And you're like, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. And then come back to these slides and like add in a different one thing or a different 1 or 2 things and try it consistently. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But at the very least, you're inviting every day again. You know what I mean? Like you've got to be, if you're not inviting every day, you got to make it up. And just another quick thing is like, you know, Beachbody here says, you know, invite 5 people a day to a challenge group. Like who does that on Saturdays and Sundays? I never did. So really I was falling like 2 days short, 52 weeks out of the year, 104 days times 5. I was selling myself short 520 invites a year just on that bare minimum number. And now, you know, I do 10. So I was selling myself short on 1,000 people that I was not connecting with for not doing it on the weekend. And then you have this 1 in 10 rule where, so there's 100 missed people just because I was doing the 5 on Saturday and Sunday. So that just goes to show like how much this stuff really does compound, you know? So if you're missing days, try batching because that's been really helpful to me.
Yes,
I have
love it.
I have a question, Megan. Sorry,
Sure.
didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay.
First of all, thank you for everything, and hey.
Sure.
My question is like all of the national wake up calls, all of these people, and you included, and like all the top coaches say like invite. You know, it's kind of a numbers game, but I guess what's happening for me is like the follow up tactics. I was just wondering if you could give a little insight on like when do you Google Streak people? Do you do obviously a piece of paper would work just as good as Google Streak, but like I find that I'll do crazy batches and I'll invite like 1,000,000 people, and then I'm like, well, I don't know if I ever followed up with them, and they all get lost in the inbox, and then I feel awkward following up when it's just a month later and I'm trying to invite them again to the same thing, but we haven't talked in between.
So when it's email, I don't really overcomplicate it or overthink it because I just think about my own email and all the emails that come in to me on a given day, and I click on what I want and I ignore what I don't. And that's just all there is to it. There's going to be people who respond and then there's going to be people who don't. And then with Facebook Messenger, I will go in and I'll just kind of scroll back and look at what our conversations looked like. And if it looked like I really wanted them, I will just flat out ask them. Like, hey, is this something you're still interested in? Just let me know. And another thing you can do with people with following up is like, just be like, you know, is it okay to follow up with you in July when MM100 launches? Is it okay to follow up with you when school starts? Is it okay to follow up with you like here, there, and everywhere? And then you see that and then you can remember. But, you know, I let people go. Okay. It's not like I just let messages go on forever and ever and ever and ever. Like if I've had like 2 or 3 segmented conversations over time where there's been like a break and then we've brought it back and then there's been like a break, I archive it. Like I let it go. And here's another thing I do with my inviting guys. Like I do that, and then my assistant will send out a bunch of stuff. And when she does it, it's like, oh my God, it's crazy. And I'll do it. And when I'm doing it, the messages start to kind of come back in and I'm on. So I do like a little bit of responding like right then and there. But when I go back through, I always start at the bottom, which I think we've all been taught that. So like when I go in and it's like follow-up time, I always start at the bottom. And if something's just not connecting with me, like I don't go after just anyone with a pulse. Like I really don't. Like I will message anyone with a pulse, but I'm not going to just chase down anyone with a pulse. So if I go back in and I'm like, I'm just not feeling this girl, or, you know, which is so weird to say from behind a keyboard, but it's true. Like I think you get like a vibe from someone's page and who their mutual friends are and whatever.
If you're forcing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I'll go back in, or like just the conversations we really engaged and connected, like I hold on. If they feel kind of like I hit the archive button, I get it out of my sight, it's just gone. Like and I move on. Like I don't really dwell too much on the people who aren't willing to pull the trigger. I just keep starting new conversations and starting new conversations and starting new conversations, and the people who provided the emails will get the blast, and I'll go to bed knowing that I let them know and leave it there. You know what I mean? But I think you can't get discouraged by that, because I do think there are people who are like, or I'll bump into them and they're like, I see your emails and I really do want to do it, and I swear one day I will. But they've never responded to me. And I'm that way. Like I'm a mess. Like my to-do list, like I'm just like, oh, that's going to have to wait. Like I've had to call the dentist for like 4 days and I haven't called. You know what I mean? And I feel like people do the same thing. Like I have to cancel a doctor's appointment I have for my son on Thursday. And I'm like, shit, if I don't do that, like actually tomorrow, they're going to charge me for a missed appointment or whatever. You know what I mean? So I just try and remember like all the things I overlook on social media, all the emails that I overlook, and I just don't take it personally, but it's never going to stop me from sending. It's never going to stop me from following up. So I just say, go with your gut. Like you can let things go and you can hold on and you get to decide, you know? Follow-ups are tough. And another thing I say with following up with people is like, get on the phone and get in person. Like if it's someone you really think is like there and they just need that little something, like get on the phone or get in person if you can. Like I'm in Carline every day. I'll be like, hey, I'm going to be in Carline. Do you have 10 minutes to chat? That's all. Hey, can I call you on my ride home from work? Would it be easy? Would it be easier if I just called you on my ride home from work? You know, and you always call them. Don't ask them to call you. You know? and just kind of go from there.
I love
Excuse
it.
me.
That was awesome information. Thanks, Megan. Thank you so much. You really poured like everything into this. You guys, she like messaged me this morning. She's like, I'm putting my slides together today. And like, she really just put so much into delivering. So I really appreciate it. I loved it. I think everyone loved it and got something out of it, if not a ton. Did anyone have any last questions? No? All right. Shall we take a picture? I know my team always loves to take a picture.
Yes. I should take my glasses off. Oh no, I should probably leave them on. Once the glasses go on, you can't take them off. It's like a hat and a ponytail.
All right, ready? Are you gonna get in? Ready? Can you smile? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Say cheese. Good job.
Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to rush from a raining t-ball game. I was like, I'm going.
I know. No, thank you for still like showing up and doing it. And really, honestly,
Oh my God,
like,
of course.
you gave it your all. I appreciate it. And we'll talk. Let's talk soon on.
Yeah. I'll message you tomorrow. Maybe we can set up a time to get on